The rich get richer. New money. Throw some D's on it. Defense brought to you by Andre Iguodala going to the Miami Heat for Justice Winslow. Trade official on trade deadline. And the legendary group Houdini back in the day, they had a song called Friends. How many of us have them? D'Angelo Russell, Karl Anthony Towns, they fit that description. They now will depend on each other in the Twin Cities. And the Dubs move on from deloading second pick in the 2015 draft for the number one pick in the 2014 draft, Andrew Wiggins. Go West, young man. Wiggins going to the Dubs. And as the kids say these days, WTF, what the freak? Those were the thoughts of many on social media, and a couple here in Studio B. Mr. Drubbin is heading to the 216. That's right, he's going to the land. And he's a member of the All Back Alley team, like Guru and Premier heading from JFK to LAX. Marcus Morris, his moment of truth today sends him to LA. NBA fans, what's good? Of course, you are now rocking with the best Game Time, driven by Toyota. Ro Parrish here, and our executives extraordinaires. You see them right here. The men are extra fly. Tom Penn, Wes Wilcox. Good to see you guys. Now listen, the reason why these distinguished gentlemen are here, they're going to break it all down because trade deadline was crazy. So many moves made, a lot of things happened, and we got to get all into it, starting with the winners. So obviously, we saw some moves. So who do we think are the biggest winners, Wes, starting with you?
One of the biggest winners, the Miami Heat. Fantastic day for the Miami Heat today. Andy Ellisberg, Pat Riley, finding a way to move $28.6 million in James Johnson, Dion Waiters to Memphis, along with Justice Winslow to bring back Andre Iguodala. Creates financial flexibility in the future and helps their team now.
I think they got better for sure. You talk about the flexibility. I'd say the big winner today is the Clippers, because they're in it to win it, and the maneuvering they did to get Marcus Morris to shore up sort of a weakness there. They didn't lose much by way of Mo Harkless. They pick up a one-year contract in Marcus Morris, and then they're in full-on go-for-it mode. So it's Lakers versus Clippers in the West, and I think it's advantage Clippers based on what they did today.
So obviously the Clippers making some moves. So did they close the gap? Obviously in the standings, we know the Lakers have been ahead all season long. But did they close the gap as far as talent being able to match up against the top teams in the West?
I'm not sure there was a gap. I mean, I think head-to-head, I would take the perimeter defense of the Clippers over the splash of the Lakers. It's close. But in this particular case, adding Marcus Morris, and he can play 3, he can play 4, he's going to be able to space the floor. Look, it's all about how great is Kawhi going to be and how great is Paul George going to be. Those two are leading the way for the Clippers. Got them second in the West. They haven't played that much together, right?
That's right.
But when they do play together, they're really good. And then they've got these role players off the bench who just come on and finish. I see Marcus Morris slotting into that.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, the Lakers have been great all year. 4th in offense, 4th in defense. That's the recipe for championship basketball. But I agree with you. The Clippers made a major move today. They are 17-4 when Paul George and Kawhi Leonard play together, and they don't really take much out of the lineup, and they add Marcus Morris, who's versatile, can defend, and he can shoot the ball.
So, okay, we go from the Western Conference to the Eastern Conference. We just spoke on the Miami Heat. We all know that the Milwaukee Bucks have been head and shoulders above the NBA as far as overall record. But did the Heat close the gap? We know Andre, Finals MVP, a lot of championships, but he's a little bit longer in the tooth. How much does he help close that gap in the Eastern Conference?
Well, it's just another guy to throw at Giannis Antetokounmpo at the end of the day. And we're not even talking enough about Jay Crowder, who's a really good player and another guy that can potentially guard a player like Giannis. And so, look, it's more than just Giannis because there are other really good teams in the East. Toronto, of course. Indiana's been very good. Philadelphia. But let's not kid ourselves. Teams are looking at Milwaukee and they're saying, how can we beat this team who is potentially on pace to win 70 games?
Look, the Heat are a surprise in that their young talent has come along so quickly and meshed with Jimmy Butler as the clear leader. So they have this clear pecking order. You bring Iguodala in, and he just shores them all up. so that when you get to pressure playoff time, you've got a proven veteran who can help make Nunn and Robinson, Adebayo, all the young kids that are coming alive and are on the rise. Iguodala's the ultimate vet. He's the vet's vet. He's in there, and then you're right. Crowder comes in, and he can bang and give you physicality. They're so deep now. Eric Spoelstra can play 11 or 12 different players. He won't do that in the playoffs. He's going to shorten it to probably 8, but he'll pick the 8 or the 9 that really match up right, and then he'll ride some hot hands, and we'll see. But you got young players evolving, and you got Iguodala there to help them. And then how about their cap flexibility? Both next year, and talk about that.
Absolutely. $26 million potentially in the summer of 2020, and then potentially 50 or more in the summer of 2021, when we know everybody is lining up for 2021. But listen, it's not just about 2021. Giannis can sign the Supermax this summer. He can come completely off the board. And now they have Iguodala's $15 million contract for next year that they can potentially retrade to add to this team again. Just a great job with the Miami Heat.
Great job, and also fixing that Heat culture a little bit. We know that Deion Waiters has been suspended a number of times this season, along with James Johnson. They move on, so they kind of shore up that Heat culture. So moving forward in the Eastern Conference, we all know the Philadelphia 76ers. They've been the talk all season long. The chemistry, is it there? Is it not? What are they doing? They bolster their bench, Tom.
Yeah, they tinkered on the perimeter. Look, these are two role players that come in. It gives Brett Brown different options. They struggle so much offensively. So you've got now 2 fresh offensive weapons that are going to help. Look, all they gave up was 3 second-round picks. They didn't have to give up any players whatsoever. But it really is going to come down to their greatness at the top. Can Simmons and Embiid coexist and flourish? They have so much money tied up in 4 players for the long haul. Simmons, Embiid, Tobias Harris, and Horford, $120 million combined each year. If this doesn't work, it's a disaster because they got nowhere to go.
And I like this. This is good work by Elton Brand. The Philadelphia 76ers have had 2 big problems. One, Tom, you mentioned it, the offense. This addresses the offense. The other issue is they've struggled on the road. And this should help them score a little bit on the road because defensively at home, they're the best defense in the NBA. They're a very good defense on the road. And so hopefully this can help maybe fix that offense a little bit for the Sixers.
Well, it's all eyes on Philly because they're going to have this run to get their act together, to get through all the chemistry issues, and to make another deep run. It's finals or bust for them. Let's say bust. But then you get into the offseason and you may see them remake it if it doesn't work. I think they have the rest of this year to make it work.
So obviously, as you two men know, sometimes the best trades are the ones that you don't make. Looking in the Eastern Conference still, the Boston Celtics don't make any moves. There was a lot of rumbles about maybe some potential moves that could be out there, especially maybe getting the big. What are your thoughts on Boston?
You know, Boston does such a great job. They're typically conservative in the regular season, though they're incredibly active. And I've always felt the Boston Celtics, Danny Ainge, Mike Zarin, Austin Ainge, these guys don't overpay for transactions. And right now everybody's looking to get blown away on deals. And so this is, once again, patience by the Boston Celtics. And though they've, some have criticized their lack of depth, they have done it this year. Lack of depth on the front line. They have done a really nice job by committee on the front line, and we're just going to see this team carry that forward.
They have finishers. So Kemba combined with Tatum. Then you have Brown. How are they all going to gel under pressure in the playoffs? And this team's just as dangerous. Last year with Kyrie there, you knew it didn't feel right. Yeah. There wasn't the same chemistry the way they now have as it's gelling. They're right there too. So I think them not making a stupid move for the sake of making it is obviously a wise move.
Speaking of wise moves, do you agree with the Lakers not making any moves?
I do. It was hard for them to make a move. The best chip they had was Kyle Kuzma. Kuzma only makes $2 million, and if they were going to bring back a Derrick Rose at $7 million, or Marcus Morris, I think they wanted Marcus, but he's at $15 million, and they would have had to give up Danny Green's $15 million. So you could see that it wasn't going to work, and there's no reason for them to really rock the boat. They'll likely be the first destination for a veteran player who gets bought out of a bad situation. So that comes March 1st. You're going to see the veteran buyouts, but they're deep, right?
This Laker team has been fantastic. They're deep. And you mentioned it. It's the salary matching. They just didn't have easy contracts to build up. They could have got it there with the contracts of Cousins and maybe Cook and add that to Kuzma, but they also didn't have a first-round pick that they could trade because of the Anthony Davis trade to New Orleans. So this one was a little complicated for the Lakers, and again, they're the best team in the West. They don't have to make a move, and so I think patience makes some sense here.
And Kuzma's pretty good.
Oh, he just had 18 and 12. He's
Right.
been very good. He's
bad.
just coming off of an ankle that, where he lost the summer.
Hair selection, not exactly the best, but that's another conversation for another day. Of course, the buyouts will be out there. Jamal Crawford, Darren Collison will be